1, 2, 3, 4. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sean Smart, and you're tuned into Babylon 5 with my dude, Jermaine Event.
Everybody doing? How's your week been? Ladies and gentlemen, hope it's been great. Hope it's been good. Sending good vibes to everybody out there in Texas. Everyone out in Texas, scary times right here that we're going through. This is episode 79, calling it a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. This is episode 79, a revolutionary. It's Babylon 5 podcast. Let me go ahead and give you guys social medias before we get to babbling. You know, if you guys want to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5Pod. You can follow my personal account at My Name's Jermaine. You can email this podcast at Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can follow this podcast at Babylon5.podbean.com. You can listen to this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcast stream. And if you guys are on Xbox, go ahead and add me. Gamer tag is SauceBoss414. Someone added me. I was playing 2K earlier, and somebody added me. I'm not sure if it's someone who is listening to this podcast. If you are listening to this podcast and you added me via me saying this here, don't be too shy to send me a message. I'll give you a shout out, because usually I get those friend requests when I'm in the room where you spin the wheel and shit, and you make picks for who's gonna win the games. I'm in that room, and I'll be getting friend requests, and I'm like, are these random ass niggas in this room? These random players just adding me because I'm playing? Because I'm not finna join your team unless you niggas play defense. That's where I'm at with that. But if you guys are, if you're on Xbox, go ahead and add me. My gamer tag is SauceBoss414. If you added me and you're from listening to this and you're the person who just added me today, shout out to you. But it was probably somebody in that lobby. You guys can watch me play one of these days. If I ever remember to do it again, go to twitch.tv/Babylon5. You guys can check out the merchandise. Go to teespring.com/store/BOF-pod-shop. I said last week that I was going to connect the store to my Instagram, and I attempted to do so. And I was like, hold me to it if I don't. I attempted to do so, but so they have it where once I turn my account to a business account, I could upload a shop. And you have the options of Shopify and all this other shit. Or you could hit add a link, add a other shop. So when I go to add in my Teespring links, it says domain already claimed or some shit like that. For both of my stores on Teespring, it says already claimed for whatever reason. It gives me that error. So I did put a link for the Babylon 5 merchandise on the bio for Instagram. So if you forget, go ahead and follow me at Babylon 5 Pod, and you guys will see the link right there for the merchandise. You guys can go ahead and get a t-shirt, get a mug. We got mugs on there. You can get this mug on your mug every morning, while you're passing the time. Go ahead and check out that merchandise. You guys can support the podcast if you'd like to by going to patreon.com/Babylon5Pod, just uploading things. If you guys are patrons, you get this episode early. You get this episode on Sunday, right after I'm done with it. You guys get the episode as soon as it's finished. Otherwise, you get it, when it drops Monday morning. But you guys can get it today if you guys are interested. And also, if you're patrons, I upload things. There's a song I just recorded in my home studio. I just put like 10 seconds on the other day. I was like, fuck, I don't even know how this song goes. That's literally how it is with me when I make beats, when I rhyme. it's like if I don't hear the song for a while, I have no idea what it even sounds like. But the second I hear it, it's like, oh yeah, it's like right away, it's like, oh, I know it all. But it's like out of sight, out of mind, almost. So yeah, so I uploaded like songs. I just uploaded like some old songs. Like I just uploaded Groovy. Yeah, I uploaded Groovy, which was a song that just like, it's probably the last song I ever worked on with Higher Education Records. Shout out to Sean Smart. And he was already gone by that point. But yeah, probably last song I worked on with that crew. And I just put that up there. If you're on Patreon, you can listen to that. Check that out. I just put up Gimmicks. The song's called Gimmicks. Actually, I think it was called Gimmicks on the file, but as I remember now, I think I originally called it No Gimmicks. Anywho, but I just uploaded it, and it was originally going to be on Uncle Tom's EP, but somebody had bought the beat. I was gonna buy the untagged beat, and somebody had already bought it before I could, so I put Gimmicks up there, and I remember when I recorded it with the tagged beat, and I had the rest of the album done, and then I was gonna get that, and I couldn't, and I like just played that song for everybody when I played the EP, and everybody just got real amped up for Gimmicks, because there's just so much energy in fucking Gimmicks. That was gonna be the fucking banger, and everybody loved that song. They're like, what? Why isn't this on the project? And I'm like, I just couldn't, I just didn't want to. Then I started hearing other like local rappers spitting on the same beat, performing on that beat with tags. Just gross. Just fucking gross. Get them tags off your beat, young man. I mean, I gotta put tags on my own beats, but if I'm a fucking low budget rapper, as I was, at least you just know to have enough decency to get that tag off the beat, man. If you're gonna do something at all, you gotta get that tag off the beat. Otherwise, you just seem pretty fucked up. But yeah, there's tags on this Gimmicks. Go check it out. There's new songs. I was saying I gotta like, for the beats, I was thinking about, I haven't put any beats on there. I could put some that I'm not intending to use for myself. Because as I was saying, you have the ability to download the files from Patreon, and I don't see any way to stop you from downloading that file once you become a patron. Like, I'm trying to restrict your access once you pay. So, like, that's why I haven't uploaded any beats, but as I'm saying, once we get to 50 subscribers, we will kick off bi-weekly. We will restart a bi-weekly I Digress, which is the vlog, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, go to patreon.com/Babylon5pod for that exclusive content. As long as, and as well as early access to these episodes every week. Get about 12 to 15 hour head start, depending on when I record. Anywho. Yeah, but if you lastly, if you guys are on TikTok, go ahead and follow me at Babylon 5 Podcast. Because why not, Why not? Somebody just added me. I don't know if, I don't know. I'm out there, I'm posting occasionally on TikTok, not often. And I'll get followers occasionally. But I'm like, okay. As I'm saying, my content's real random. It's just very random. I'm a random young man. But speaking of random things, man, in the news the other day, have you seen it? Have you heard? Fucking Texas, my nigga. They fucking got hit hard by a massive fucking snowstorm. It fucking took out the electrical grid, like all these grids, and fucking people were without power for I say almost a week. I think a lot of people were out of power for up to 6 days, out of power, out of water. A lot of people died trying to keep warm. They're sitting in their cars trying to keep warm, and they're dying from carbon monoxide poisoning. Some crazy shit. I saw a crazy conspiracy video. This black dude was like, I took this fucking snow and I put it in a bowl in the microwave, and that shit started sparking like it was metal. And he was like, and I put this shit in the oven, and it's just getting hard. It's not melting. That's neither here nor there. But it's like, yo, shit's going down.
Do you speak English? And do you want to make...
Oh, man, okay. Why do I know this nigga? I don't know that nigga. So, yeah, no, sorry, I just played that because I wanted to find this clip. This dude was talking about the grids before I continue with this. What is it? This other one, like, is water is lava. I was like, that's fucking cold. Damn, I look at too many fucking animal videos on here. Here we go. Let's look at this shit about something I think is interesting along with this whole Texas thing.
If you're looking at Texas right now and thinking, it seems pretty bad that a state's electrical grid can fail overnight from a snowstorm, I have news for you. It's so much worse than you could ever imagine. Don't be a heartless idiot and blame red state voters. It's red states, blue states, purple states, green states, everywhere is in crisis. In 2017, the American Society of Civil Engineers gave our energy grid a D+, because almost all of it was built in the 1950s and 60s with a 50-year life expectancy and would tend to...
Everything was built in the 60s. He's talking real fast with a 50-year life expectancy, right? And we're about 10 years past that. So our grids are in bad shape.
20 years past that. Across the country, 640,000 miles of high-voltage lines run at full capacity at almost all times, which is way more than the grid was designed to handle, and Texas in particular is one of the worst ratios between planned and real capacity. It's so bad that the U.S. government has said that if just 9 of America's 55,000 electrical
If just 9 of 55,000
stations were brought down, it could cause a coast-to-coast blackout lasting 18 months or more.
Coast-to-coast blackout lasting 18 months or more. That shit's very possible. You see the shit that's going on in Texas right now for a week? We haven't updated our systems, and it's like that fragile where if 9 of the shit go down, I don't even know what the fuck it is. Whatever the fuck he's talking about, if shit goes down, fucking a blackout, nigga.
The director of Task Force on National and Homeland Security has said a prolonged collapse of the electrical grid could result in the death of up to 90% of the American population. Today, the U.S. has more power outages than any other developed country. And that's because 68% of the electricity in the U.S. is managed by investor-owned privatized utility companies. And updating their systems cuts into their profits, so they don't do anything until something fails. And when things do fail, and for example start massive wildfires in California, guess who pays for it? Mostly taxpayers. There's no good news, and that's just the tip of the iceberg because all of America's infrastructure is failing. So I'm going to keep doing videos about it. If you're looking...
I wish the nigga wouldn't talk so fast, but it's TikTok, and you know niggas got to get that information out of there. But it's fucking crazy, man. Let me look at another video. What's this nigga? This nigga's name is Jules Suzdoltsev on TikTok. His name's at Jules.Su, JULES.SU. Get that nigga a shout out since I'm playing this shit. Play another video. I ain't heard this one.
Hey, I wanted to make this video really quick because the last video I made about our failing electric grid got a lot of attention, and in particular, a lot of people have questions about this part of the video.
And testimony from the executive director of Task Force on National and Homeland Security has said a prolonged collapse of the electrical grid could result in the death of up to 90% of the American population.
So is it likely that the entire country will experience a nationwide blackout for 18 months? No. Is it likely that 90% of the population is going to die from a prolonged lack of electricity? No. However, the very fact that it's possible is the problem. And a quick explanation about the 90% figures that it came from a congressional testimony by the executive director of Task Force on National and Homeland Security. The exact quote was, through starvation, disease, and societal collapse. And the easiest way to think about it is that almost everything that keeps us healthy, safe, and fed is based on using electricity. So is it likely? No. Don't panic. But we should do something about the fact that it's possible.
Facts. Yeah. So, you know, I wanted to disclaim that I haven't looked any further into any of this shit. I'm just watching this video and I was like, damn, that's interesting. Maybe I should play that on the podcast. But like, yeah, it's just crazy that when he explains that something like what's going on in Texas right now. Nobody was prepared. I mean, I think a lot of factors, like time of the year. I mean, if he said 18 months, then it's fucking, we're going through all the elements, my nigga. Especially, you know what I'm saying? So, with no electricity, no water, you got niggas in, the mayor of Colorado City, Texas, was talking about, he's talking out against, like, socialist institutions and saying, like, if you can't do it for yourself and all, talking all this nonsense. But it's like, bro, you're a mayor. You're the fucking mayor. You're in a fucking socialist position. Are you cashing them paychecks, my nigga? Are you cashing them paychecks? Because you're in a socialist position. I don't think you're in place to talk down on socialism. My nigga, unless you gonna fucking stop cashing them checks, donate that shit to the fucking socialists, because you don't want it. You don't agree with this shit. It's some crazy times, man. My boy Sean Smart, shout out to Sean Smart. You heard him on the intro. He's living down in Austin. I reached out to the homie. He said they were out of power from Sunday, and I spoke to him Saturday. I think he said the power just came back on yesterday. So they were out of power from Sunday. Power just came on yesterday in their house. So 6 days with essentially with no power, 5-6 days with no power. His uncle lives down there as well. We stayed with his uncle when we went to South by some years back. And he said his uncle's power came on his uncle's power came on Wednesday. So they stayed over there from Wednesday. So luckily that happened. But he was saying that they had to go to Home Depot and buy wooden pallets and just chop those up because all the firewood everywhere had been sold out. So everybody had to resort to, like, figuring out just to stay warm. As I was saying, people were dying in their cars. Just nobody in Texas was prepared for this shit. But the one thing that I've seen some videos, and the one thing that he was saying, luckily they had a fireplace in their house, Sean and Colleen, but the thing that I've seen in videos and the thing that he mentioned was that all the neighbors were, like, helping each other out. Everybody was making sure to help each other out. So, like, that's what I was seeing in videos, and it's crazy to me. Well, it's not crazy because, like, you know, we have shit with, like, the Trumps and the Proud Boys and shit like that. And you just see so much evil with the QA9 and all this shit. Shit just seems so dark. And, you know, when you're a kid, you have this, like, opinion of what America should be like, what it means to be an American. And then as you get older, it's like all that gets ripped away from you, the idea, or even that is a thing, that idea that was fed to you. But then in moments like this is when you finally see. It's never when we're in trouble and we're like, hey, please, overseers, we need help. It's never, they're never like, okay, we got you. We'll help you out. That's never the case. It's usually like, we're all struggling and we'll look out for each other in those hard times. That's, to me, like, what an American should be. The fact that crisis came out and you're not just sitting here, you're not Ted Cruz, like, yeah, this state is fucking going through crisis, but I'm trying to be a good dad and show my daughter some sunny weather. So you go to fucking Cancun. That's looking out for self. You know, at one point, I was saying, like, with Jorge Masvidal, I was talking to my wife. It's like when you're on the come up, you're a person of the people. You want those benefits for the people because you are the people. You know the struggle and you're living in it. But it's like once these people reach a certain level, Their only concern is staying at that level with as little of an inconvenience as possible, little to no inconvenience as possible. And all those other people, shit, they're fucking non-playable characters in their game. They're non-playable characters in their game. That's how that shit looks to me. It's so crazy how the fucking switch just like that. You go from person of the fucking people to I'm just trying to be a good father. While traveling to Cancun while your state fucking just dies, is in fucking crisis. It's crazy, man. Just so happens to be Sean Smart's birthday today. So he got hit with the fucking crazy hurricane. No electricity. Motherfuckers dying everywhere. Or not hurricane, crazy snowstorm. I'm sorry. See, that's my problem right there. That's that shit. When I was saying last week, like I always be like mixing up shit. Probably called it a hurricane like 3 times today. Like just in this little rant. Probably called it a hurricane like 3 times. And I meant to say snowstorm. So yeah, they got hit with the snowstorm leading up to his birthday. Today is his birthday. And it's like 70 today. You know, they got hit with crazy cold weather, as I'm saying. With that grid, like, they're talking about, like, it's privatized grids. They shut it off. They shut grids off in, like, lower income areas. Because they don't give a shit about those areas. They only want to keep shit on in the quote-unquote important areas. So, it's just weird times. But it's 70 degrees today on my man Sean Smart's birthday. He says they're safe, doing pretty good, so shout out to them. Let's listen to a little bit of my boy Sean Smart on his birthday, man. Happy birthday to Sean Smart. And good vibes, man. Sending good vibes to everybody out there in Texas, man. That's some crazy shit.
We feel it.
I don't know why I started right there. I mean, I was listening to it earlier, but... Only get it. Only get it.
I got a cool Rolling Stone, and you know we Rolling Stone. I got a cool Rolling Stone,
Yeah.
and you know we Rolling Stone. I got a cool Rolling Stone, and you know we Rolling Stone. I got a cool Rolling Stone. You know we Rolling Stone. I got a cool Rolling Stone. One hand in the air with a blunt lit. 2 hands in the air for this couplet. 3 cheers for the pretty mamacitas up in here getting weird, still dancing past sunset. Cause you know we all love it. The vibe that we feeling is telling me something. It's telling me something. The vibe that we feeling is telling me something.
Yo, I just wanted to say, I'll play a little more cause I know y'all feeling that. It was we shot like a video for this song, and it was like when 360 videos were like just starting out being a thing, but like the quality of the footage, like it was a 360 video, but the quality of the footage, like you had the 3 cameras wrapped around and it worked, but it was just like lower quality of the footage. I've even seen like Fort Minor when they dropped theirs, and it was like the same thing. Like it's a 360 video, like it's cool. I don't even think people are still doing that shit, but like it was a 360 video, but the quality was kind of low budget, you know.
And I ain't worried about nothing. Hit the gas pedal, and I ain't worried about stunting, but
also, I mean, this is clearly a song about smoking marijuana, and Niggas was too stoned. Everybody was too stoned in here, nigga. We was in there fucking, it was like Blizz. I think Classic was there, fucking, I think White Russian, I'm pretty sure Dana Kappa was there. Too many niggas, and we was all blunt. Like, everybody had a blunt or two, and it was just, everything's just in rotation at the same time. It was crazy.
Asking if my crew is tough enough. Man, you better smarten up before my partner doesn't. Somebody call a bus and an ambulance, man. We don't even handle guns. We just do it for the ambiance. Cop it, split it, drop it, twist it, spark it, hit it, roll it, get it. Cop it, split it, drop it, twist it, spark it, hit it, roll it, get it. Cop it, split it, drop it, twist it, spark it, hit it, roll it, get it. Cop it, split it, drop it, twist.
This is a reference from if you guys know UGK. What is it? I got a crew of I don't even remember. Fuck, I forgot the line. It was a Pimp C line. Let me look it up.
And you know we rolling stone. I got a crew of rolling stones. And you know we rolling stone. I got a crew of rolling stones. And you know we rolling stone. I got a crew of rolling stones. And you know we rolling stone.
I think it's I got a pocket full of stones. Maybe I'm fucked up right now. I mean, I'm not fucked up, but I'm like, maybe I got it fucked up. Oh, pocket full of stones. I was right. Your boy knows something. Your boy knows a little bit of hip hop, the hippie. Damn, look at these young ass niggas. Bun B look like Killer Mike. Yeah, but that's the reference.
Got gas like the Rolling Stones. People ride past and they hold their nose. Other rappers say they got the dopest dope. Plug my ears when I hear those bogus flows. Leon got the tone when I'm hitting two joints. Spitting crack, hitting dams, gotta get a new pipe. You right if you thinking that about their crew life. White Clips fit it best, but it hit it 2 times. Smoking no potent and flowing like oceans. Kicking with spitters, you know that we on it. Speaking the truth, we don't need no promotion. Hop in the booth and you know that we on it. We smoking on the track like a relay. Good grief got green in a briefcase. Feel like I won a sweepstakes for Pete's sake. Now my only keepsake is a clean slate. Cop it, split it, drop it, twist it, spark it, hit it, roll it, get it. Cop it, split it, drop it, twist it, spark it, hit it, roll it, get it. Cop it, split it, drop it, twist it, spark it, hit it, roll it, get it. Cop it, split it, drop it, twist it, spark it, hit it. I got a cool rolling stone. And you know we rolling stone. I got a cool rolling stone. And you know we rolling stone. I got a cool rolling stone. And you know we rolling stone. I got a cool rolling stone. And you know we rolling stone. I got a cool rolling stone.
Damn, okay, that's it. I'm just, that's it's an original Vision beat, Matthias. I don't even know if his name is still Original Vision, but I guess shout out to that guy. It's a pretty cool beat there. Pretty cool. I fucks with that song, as you guys see here. I hit the it was like behind the track on SoundCloud, and he has in the description that this track is featured in his 360 Smoke Session promo video. Curious if that is still up. I thought, as I just said, I thought it was taken down. Let's check it out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna play it. Because if anything, I should have played it while I was listening to it. No, I don't think so. They got the Shaken and Stirred video. Sean Smart, I'm in that shit. Yeah, I don't see it. So I think it's gone. But yeah, that was Sean Smart. Happy birthday to that young man. We're gonna move on here. As I said last week, and I'm a little embarrassed, I was like, I don't even know what this movie's about. We're about to go see this movie called Judas and the Black Messiah. I don't even know what this is about. And I didn't at the time. And then I watched the trailer after I recorded the episode, and I was just like, oh, that looks amazing. I was like, that looks pretty good, you know? And we went and saw. We rented out a movie theater and went and saw Judas and the Black Messiah. And that movie is pretty fucking cool. I've watched it again since we went and saw it on Valentine's Day. It's just a pretty powerful movie. This is like the first like major movie that didn't depict the Black Panthers in a negative light. It actually showed them for who they were. It's pretty crazy, man, because Fred Hampton, you know, the one who gave that speech, I am a revolutionary, what this episode is named after, man. Just the way he was depicted in so much good, you know, it's spoiler alerts here, but this happened, he died 1969, December 4th, same day Jay-Z was born, if that means anything to anyone. It meant something to me, I'll tell you that much, my nigga. And, yeah, it's crazy, man. He was 21 years old. All right, he's 21 years old. It's Fred Hampton. He was talking about the day how it was depicted in the movie. Like, you know, he was arrested for stealing apparently like 1,000 ice cream bars is what they're alleging, like $70 worth of ice cream. So he was arrested for that and then pretty much sentenced to 2 to 5 years. And he was let out on, well, his, what did they do? What is the appeal? I think he was in appeal. His case was in appeal. And while he was in appeal, he was let out for, I don't know how this shit works, actually. So he was let out, and then the courts had denied his appeal. So he was going to be sent back to prison or to jail. He's going to be sent back to prison. And all the Black Panthers, they're talking to him about how they can give him to Cuba and all these places. And they're giving him cash. And the Crowns are giving him cash. It's like other gangs throughout Chicago. And he's just like, we're sitting here talking about how we're going to get out of here. And we should be talking about how we're going to build this free clinic. Like, you know what's crazy? One little critique I had. I thought Daniel's accent for Fred Hampton was a little wild. It was like a weird, like, Pan-African, like, show some discipline. Go get me a lawyer. I was like, why are you talking like that? And then when I go watch the videos of Fred Hampton, he ain't, show some discipline. I am a revolutionary. He ain't talking like that. He's like, I am a revolutionary. Like, he was talking like a nigga. He's talking like a nigga from America. You know, I was talking to my wife about how I can tell, you know, if a black person, for the most part, in America, if I'm talking to you on the phone, I don't know who you are, I can almost tell your race. That's just how people talk, you know, here. But if you're fucking a white dude from, like, the UK, or a black dude from the UK, or whoever from the UK, I can't tell. You all sound the same. There's no, like, difference in how the black people talk over there. As far as I've heard, there's no difference in how the black people talk over there and how the white people talk and yada yada. You know what I'm saying? They all sound like the same person. Oh, good day, isn't it? Or however them niggas talk. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas talk like that. Whoever them niggas say in it, if them niggas say in it, they say in it. And niggas over here tripping, you know what I'm saying? But so I can't tell the difference. So he had a weird accent for his for his depiction of Fred Hampton. That was my one. Like, if I had one complaint, my nigga, it was just the accent. We ain't gonna fight fire with fire. We gonna fight fire with water. We gonna fight fire with water. We gonna fight. We not gonna fight capitalism with black capitalism. We gonna fight capitalism with socialism. Like, it was just a weird ass like young Bill Cosby-esque voice. Like, it was just a weird accent. That's my only complaint. Also, as even the niggas, I was listening to Joe Budden's podcast, and they were talking about, they were like, I hated to have to like root against Lakeith, and it's like, that's what I'm saying. Lakeith's my dude. I don't want to have to root against Lakeith. But he played this fucking snitch. I mean, I don't know. Lakeith's character, you know, I did say spoiler alert, is this guy Bill, whatever his name. He, at the end of it all, he does years later, he does 60 Minutes interview where he discusses the whole thing, the whole operation, and how he infiltrated the Black Panthers with the FBI to bring down Fred Hampton. And after he gives this interview, he kills himself. The night this interview airs, he kills himself. So, you know, it's some heavy shit. So it's hard to root. It was hard to have to like want to root against Lakeith, because like I want my brother to win every time. I felt like he wasn't utilized enough, and guess who? Like, I want my brother to win. You know what I'm saying? But it's a fucking powerful movie, man. It's a powerful movie. As far as I seen, I was like looking up. They're talking about this money shit, and it's like I'm watching a movie where multiple times they're just like murdering people. The police, they're murdering people, burning buildings, and I've seen it happen in like a depiction of the past to black people like 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? And if you look back in any depiction of the past for black people, there's a ton of white people coming in and just murdering, a ton of police officers coming in and shooting up the place and murdering everybody. And it's just a story from that point on. It's just a story that we tell of when that happened. I'm not hearing, like, none of these officers who, how it was depicted, like, they're fucking in this house or this apartment, and they just start shooting in the apartment. They're rushing in through the back. They're airing this shit out. And they were saying how, like, there was over, like, I think, like, 100 shots fired or whatever, and only, like, 3 of the bullets probably came from any of the Panthers' gun. Every other bullet came from the fucking police. They fucking shot through the doors, you feel me? They shot through the doors. And I'm just like, who's arrested for any of this? Who's held accountable for any of this? And it just ends up... It all just ends up being stories we tell. This man was fucking 21 years old. And he knew, he's telling them speeches. I'm not gonna die by no blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna die for the people. Because I love the people. And it's like, man, he's giving these speeches, and it's like, man, he just like knew in his mind there was no other way. There was no other outcome. And he knew if, like, by the speeches, closer to his death, he gave this speech. I don't know how the timeline's been in the movie. He was like, there's probably some pigs in the audience right now with a tape recorder and a gun in their hand. Well, let me tell you like this. Kill one pig, get a little satisfaction. Kill a few pigs, get a little satisfaction. Kill all oh shit, sorry, fuck, hold on, I'm gonna have to, no, that was a slip of the tongue here. You guys, you know, it's your boy Jermaine. Just a slip of the tongue there. Yeah, he's just like, kill all pigs, get complete satisfaction or some shit like that. And I was like, damn, that nigga he kind of wrote his ticket right there, my nigga. You kind of wrote your ticket. Niggas coming for you. And sure enough, they was like, oh, we gonna send a nigga back to jail. And niggas was like, nah. J. Edgar Hoover was like, nah, we gonna have to put that nigga in the ground. It's like, you send that nigga to jail. I'm like, Tupac sold more albums after he went to jail. Y'all gonna send this nigga to, that's what he said. He didn't say that, but that's essentially the whole thing. They were like, I forget the examples, but they were like, it made one person like a best-selling author and this person a celebrity or some shit, so they didn't want to like send fucking Fred Hampton back to jail, back to prison, because they knew it would boost his profile. And they drugged this man. They said this man had so much fentanyl. In 1969, this nigga had so much horse tranquilizer in him that his heart probably would have stopped shortly after. But regardless of that, he was laying there sleeping in the bed. He was laying there unconscious in bed after being drugged with all this fentanyl. And by Wild Bill, Lakeith's character, according to the stories. They're saying his heart would have stopped anyway, but they fucking shot him right there, like pretty much in front, like his girl, his pregnant girlfriend is like coming out of the room after they shoot up this whole place. A bunch of people got shot, killed. They're taking people out of there. And he's laying there on the bed, and the cop walks up and like was like, "Oh, he looks like he might make it." Shoots him. It was like he's good and dead now. And apparently, like she talked about it. Like that's like a true story. They walked up to this man laying there and was like, and shoot him as he's laying there in the bed, and was like, looks like he's good and dead now. 21 years old. It's crazy, man. Because you see the way he was able to unite people, man. It was something crazy. It was something powerful, man. It's just sad to see, man, that it just becomes stories we tell. Not only stories we tell, stories that are rewritten by the fucking winners, per se. And then the truth is just something passed down by those in the know, but we, you know, it just becomes stories that we tell with no accountability. But it's a great movie. I would suggest you all go watch it at least one time, if not a few times. It's a great movie, I would say. Great. Let me throw some more greats on there. Why not? You know, it's a good movie. Go check it out. So if Tony the Tiger was here, he'd be like, nigga, fuck them cornflakes. I'm about to go watch Judas and the Black Messiah. Because I spit hot fire. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm... Because I spit hot fire, man. So yeah, that was, damn, I got a bladder like a fucking pregnant racehorse. There we go. Ooh, ladies and gentlemen. So, as what I'm saying, let's moving on. We're moving on here, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving on here to the real shit. You guys were like, when are you gonna get to the real shit? And what's the real shit? You know what the real shit is. Dragon Ball Super, my nigga. So, new manga came out, chapter 69. I'm not gonna sit here and go through the whole chapter because I don't feel like we have time to kill today. So we're just going to get to the parts that I think are pretty cool. But as I said last time, we talked about this last month, you got the new character, Granola, who is from the planet Cereal, which was all the people, except for like him, he's like the last surviving cerulean of the planet Cereal. His people were wiped out, they destroyed the planet, and then the planet was rebuilt by the Heaters, and this group of motherfuckers called the Heaters, and then they sold it to this other planet of people whose planet also got wiped out by the fucking Saiyans. They escaped, and the Shigarians is their name. They now live on planet Cereal, and Granola is... And so they pick up with Granola. He's back on planet Cereal. All this shit is pretty contrived here because... Well, so, I mean, I'm not going to try to explain all this Dragon Ball lore for you guys, but as far as we knew, there was only 2 planets with Dragon Balls. And then there's the Super Dragon Balls now, hence Dragon Ball Super, which the Dragon Balls are the size of fucking planets. But now it's like conveniently told in this chapter that there is a Namekian that lives on planet Cereal, who just so happens to be roommates with Granola, this new character, just so conveniently. And because the niggas the Heaters are like, oh, maybe we could get fucking Dragon Balls. Maybe that's how Frieza came back. And maybe we could learn about Dragon Balls from the fucking Namekian that lives with Granola, since fucking Namekians can just make Dragon Balls. Because then it conveniently jumps to Planet Namek, and they explain how just Namekians are just explaining to each other that the Namekians came from a whole different dimension altogether and spread out to different places. Like, so there's no telling where Namekians ended up. And they're saying almost any Namekian could create Dragon Balls, and depending on how powerful that Namekian is, he could create a dragon from 1 to 7 or maybe more Dragon Balls, depending on how powerful the person who created the balls are. And that also sets limitations on the abilities of that dragon. So they're adding in all this lore. They're expanding the lore with that, which is pretty cool. So now they fucking the Ceruleans, and they're Namekian, who just happens to be Granola's fucking roommate, made Dragon Balls, and he only has 2. You only need 2 Dragon Balls to get the dragon. It's like a sexual innuendo, 2 balls, 1 dragon, you know what I'm saying? But the most interesting part of this chapter, why I'm really going to talk about this, as you guys know, my favorite character is Vegeta here, and Vegeta is training with Beerus, or he wanted to train with Beerus, and Beerus is asking him, like, how many planets have the Saiyans destroyed? Has he and the Saiyans destroyed? And he's like, yo, I don't know. Like, that was just the way of life. And Beerus is like, do you think that the Saiyans deserved to be wiped out? And Vegeta says yes. Like, they did a lot of harm in the day, and like they deserve to pay for it. And Beerus is like, yo, that's nonsense. To just still think that way, that they deserved to be punished for their sins, like, after all this time. And he's like, what if I told you that I'm the one that told Frieza to kill all your people, to kill your entire family? Beerus tells Vegeta that he fucking told Frieza to destroy planet Vegeta. So Vegeta attacks him, he's getting beat up and all that shit. But, yeah, he's just getting beat up by Beerus. And Beerus is explaining to him that the reason he can't become stronger right now is because he's holding on to the guilt of his people. His people murdered a lot of people. They did a lot of evil in the universe. And because he's holding on to that guilt of what his people did so long ago, he's not able to push forward and become more powerful because of that guilt. So Beerus is explaining to him, in order to become a better person, he has to destroy all those things that are weighing him down from his past to rebuild a new person. I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. That's a pretty fucking little part of this whole little thing, you know what I'm saying? That's a pretty cool thing. And so maybe Vegeta will eventually become like God of Destruction Vegeta, and then I'll just cover my back with the image of God of Destruction with a tattoo of God of Destruction Vegeta. But yeah, that was a pretty fucking cool little instance. Is there any other little interesting little tidbits? Oh, this fucking, as I said with the Dragon Balls, so Granola he has a 1-star Dragon Ball that he and his Namekian that made them just have at home, but they apparently hadn't seen the 2-star Dragon Ball in 40 years. But the Namekian is like, yo, don't even go looking for them, because he knows he wants revenge on Frieza. And he's like, the Dragon Balls aren't to be used for revenge. That's not what this is about. And he's like, all right, I won't do anything. And the old Namekian goes to bed. And when he goes to bed, the fucking Granola is just like watching TV, and just coincidentally, some fisherman on planet Cereal just so happens to find the 2nd-star Dragon Ball. And fucking Granola just so happens to flawlessly break into the place where they took the Dragon Ball. Like, had all kinds of security, alarms are going off when he breaks into the place in these few shots that they show. But he swiftly just sneaks in, steals the Dragon Ball, gets out of there. That was like too convenient. And he gets out of there with the 2nd Dragon Ball. He only needs 2. Summons the dragon. And he says, I wish... Let me read it, actually. Let's just look at it. You have collected 2 Dragon Balls. State your wish. If it is within my power, your single wish is my command. This nigga's like, you're granting my wish. And he's like, any wish. And yeah, he just says, I want to be the strongest in the universe, is what Granola says. He wishes for the dragon to make him the strongest in the universe, which is essentially the omen that the oracle fish had. He was dreaming and saying, like, incoming the strongest warrior in the universe. But it's just weird that last chapter, Granola was like all serious, and he's like, I gotta get stronger and become the most powerful warrior in the universe. And then all of a sudden, this chapter, he's just like, goes back home, real calm. Let me buy some water. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, my roommate's cool. He's just old. You know, everything's just like real chill. And then just like this whole conversation about the fucking Dragon Balls, all this shit just like escalates one after another. And it's like, dude, it was never a part of your plan to go get the Dragon Balls. Or just to make this wish, because nobody had seen this other Dragon Ball in 40 years. This was never part of your plan. All of a sudden, he's just home, nonchalant. And then he's like, oh, there's the Dragon Ball. I'm about to go become the strongest nigga alive. Whatever the fuck that means. I mean, if he becomes the strongest person alive, and Goku is training right now, like, for how long is he the strongest person alive? Doesn't Goku become, like, the strongest person tomorrow if he becomes stronger than Goku today? Like, how does he just keep being stronger if Goku is consistently training? But, no, it was a good chapter, man. That whole thing with Beerus and Vegeta and that whole, like, breaking down who you were in the past is keeping you down. Like, I was like, man, that whole shit right there is cool, my nigga. That whole shit is cool. So, yeah, I'm hooked. It got me hooked again on this Dragon Ball Super chapter. Really into this whole little manga chapter here. I'm really interested in how it turns out. I mean, I don't like what they're doing here with some of this rush shit. I felt like they rushed through the Moro arc. I felt like they could have did that a lot longer. You had a dude who had a whole army that he broke out from a galactic prison. Y'all had it where he was for months traveling around just eating planets. And then all of a sudden it was just one battle. Like, that could have spread out for fucking a long time, where it was just like a crazy thing. Like, maybe he escaped planet Earth, and you guys had to fucking find him somewhere else, but by the time you found him, he's even more powerful. Like, you know, all kinds of shit could happen. But I felt like they rushed it, and they're probably gonna rush this one, but got some new elements, and I'm watching the story. I mean, I'm reading it now, so why not? Why not? UFC news here, man. This one thing that I just saw yesterday that I was like, man, that's fucking weird. I thought, so the funny thing, so they showed a promo, just to give you guys. Yesterday, they had the Derek Lewis versus Curtis Blades card. And in the main event, they show a promo where it's Micheal Chandler and his wife and their adopted black son. And they keep saying, well, I just think that Micheal Chandler I just think, like, you know, since it's Black History Month and we need to highlight blah, because it's Black History Month, blah, because it's Black History Month, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just sitting here like, at first I was like, oh shit, dude. Like, Micheal Chandler got bread. He out here adopting black kids? Nigga, damn, this nigga rich, you know? Which is a reference to the Kanye West lyrics. The Kanye West lyric, richer than white people with black kids, scarier than black people with ideas, off of Smuckers, off of the Tyler the Creator album. So it's like a little reference to that. When I made the joke, that was a reference to that. I make that reference in my mind anytime I see white parents with adopted black kids. I make that little joke in my mind. But as I'm seeing it though, and it's playing, and they just got to all the videos with the kid like just playing, and then like here I am with this little black boy, and when I look in his eyes, I see my eyes, and I just think in Black History Month, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching right now? What the fuck am I watching? It's Black History Month, right? It's Black History Month, and it all felt fucking very exploitative. That the UFC is just showing, you guys are highlighting, all right, this white fighter who just because he adopted a black kid, and it's Black History Month. But what about that promo? What about that whole video had anything to do with Black History Month? What the fuck should I have taken from that video? Can you guys explain to me why you haven't highlighted any black athletes during Black History Month? The UFC has not highlighted any black athletes during Black History Month. None of their fucking current black athletes, but they chose to highlight one of their white athletes because he 4 years ago adopted a black child. He has a black son, so he is the highlight for fucking Black History Month. I'm sitting here like, I don't know what the fuck I'm watching. And it's like, I honestly feel bad for this young man, and I'm not saying that Micheal Chandler's a bad person necessarily. It's just weird, man. As far as if I'm correct, let me look into it. Yeah, so this is my thing. I feel bad for this kid. Sorry, I'm so quiet there. So I feel bad for this kid because this is a black boy that they've just exploited for Black History Month. Like, what the fuck were they showing me in that video other than the fact that, well, here's white people adopting black people? That's all I saw in this video, really. But it's like, you also, Micheal Chandler, you were openly a Trump supporter. You tweeted and deleted about the election results, contesting the election results. But then come Black History Month, here I am with my black son. And that's just weird to me because you openly supported Trump, and Trump is an open racist. All right, he's an open racist that recently sent the Coast Guard in to escalate, or the National Guard. Why did I put Coast Guard? Put the National Guard in to escalate like majority black peaceful protests. And it made these fucking laws because like fucking Confederate statues were getting vandalized, made it a felony for that, just because it was like his people. But then the second fucking he incites a riot, so, he's saying they're good people on these sides. He's a fucking joke. But Trump is an open fucking racist, and you got Micheal Chandler who supported that open racist. So when I see this, it's like Micheal Chandler not only feels openly that the racism of Donald Trump isn't enough to withdraw his support. That's not enough to withdraw his support. So to me, that says to me, he'd be fully okay if someone spoke to his son or treated his son the way people like Donald Trump refer to people of color or treat people of color. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's perfectly fine with that because Trump's racism wasn't enough to deter his support. You got fucking Dana White, who openly supported Donald Trump, spoke out at his conventions or whatever for him, spoke out defending Gina Carano, who is a fucking joke. And I just saw an article with her, speaking of which, that said when she was warned, when Disney was like, yo, man, tone it down, she swore to them that she was going to go down swinging. What kind of nonsense is that? Are you fucking crazy? Well, she is crazy because she's still like, I didn't do anything wrong. But if for them to come to you like, hey, man, you represent us, can you just tone it down? And you're like, I'm going to go down swinging. You're fucking crazy. You're fucking crazy. But Dana White, who supports this fucking open racist, who, when George Floyd was murdered and all the protests was going on and the NFL put out a statement, all these companies were dropping statements. All this shit's happening around in America, all around the world. Like, Adesanya was fucking doing speeches. There was all kinds of protests all over the world. It was fucking viral moments. Everybody was protesting. They asked Dana White about it, if the UFC was going to put out a statement. And he was like, what? I'm just really busy these days. What are you talking about? Is there something going on? I don't even know what's going on. He pretended like he had no idea that this global fucking thing was happening, that there's protests around the world, that even his own fighters were participating in and making news about. He was like, what? Well, I don't have time to think about things like that. That guy who was a diehard Donald Trump supporter who definitely, repeatedly, did not let racism deter his support for Donald Trump. That man then chose to film and put out a video of this white fighter with a black son and repeatedly say, because it's Black History Month. Like, I feel like I'd have less of an issue if they just didn't mention Black History Month. But the fact that you're mentioning that you kept mentioning Black History Month, and it's like, well, then you're putting this video here for Black History Month. But it's like, what the fuck is this? What am I watching? Why do I watch this every week? And you guys never fucking be like, oh, it's Black History Month. Let's celebrate the black athletes we have on this roster. Or that we've had. I don't see any fucking videos about Kevin Randleman. I don't see any videos about, like, fucking anybody. Here's Sugar Rashad, blah, blah, blah. Here's this fucking, it's Black History Month. You could be putting free fights up of fucking all the top fucking black fighters. You could be doing all kinds of shit, but you don't. The only thing the UFC has chosen to do was to choose this white fighter who also supports Donald Trump, but just so happened to adopt a black son. And then they shot a promo video about Black History Month. That shit's disgusting. It's pretty gross. And I'm not necessarily saying that Chandler's all bad. It's clearly a little misguided. It's just alarming that racism is clearly not a problem for him. So he doesn't have a problem. He won't have an issue, in my opinion, how I see it. Since he didn't have an issue with Trump doing it, the person he supported, even after it was over, challenging election results, he doesn't have a problem with people talking to his black son that way. That's where I see the issue here, and the fact that they showed that fucking... That's my issue there, but my main thing is, like, you shouldn't have shown that as a Black History fucking promo. That was the grossest thing I've ever seen. Fucking gross. I guess there were fights there were fights yesterday. I spoke to my nigga Landon. He called me and he was like, I don't know, I didn't know what he was going to say to me, but I was saying to him that, like, I almost didn't even watch this fucking card because, as I was saying, I can't stand, if you guys listen to this podcast, I can't stand Derek Lewis. You know what I'm saying? So I was wanting him to get knocked out. My whole point, and Landon called me, I was like, bro, he's trash. He just gets beat up the whole fight and then he catches you. And he's just like, bro, he's not trash. And I'm just like, bro, he's fucking terrible. First round comes, fucking Curtis Blades chopping the leg, hitting him with the jab. He's staying back out of range of his fucking overhand right. Curtis Blades wins that round easily. Second round comes, fucking Curtis Blades tries to go for a takedown, dips down for the takedown. Fucking Derek Lewis dips and fucking reins in a thunderous uppercut that knocks Curtis Blades out stiff. He's out cold stiff. Motherfuckers are mad that Derek Lewis hit Blades a couple more times when he was knocked out, but he's just like, yo, it's pretty much the Ben Askren thing, like super necessary. You just got to fight until the referee tells you to stop. So it is what it is. It is what it is, but I'm going to try to stop hating on Derek Lewis, man. He annoys me, you know what I'm saying? But fuck, dude, he's got power. He's just like fucking Deontay Wilder, man. He's got that eraser. But shit. And it's crazy, because like with people like him and Ngannou, they have them erasers. But then you got people who train their whole lives boxing, jiu-jitsu, fucking kickboxing, fucking wrestling, fucking sambo. You got people who train all these fucking disciplines for their entire lives. And then these fucking guys with no cardio just come in and with one punch. It's just fucking gross. I mean, it is what it is. This is the fight game. You knock a nigga out in one punch. That's all it takes. If you guys want to know what it looked like when Derek Lewis hit that nigga, think about that meme where Marge, picture of Marge when she's like, yeet, or whatever, when she's doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's like her dancing or some shit. That's how that nigga wound up and just fucking took this nigga's soul. Took this nigga's soul. I got most of the fights right in my predictions. I got the last 3 fights wrong. I picked Curtis Blades to beat Derek Lewis. I picked Ketlin Vieira to beat Yana Kunishkaya. And I think Ketlin Vieira, man, something's going on, man. She looked the worst I've ever seen her. Like, it wasn't like Yana Kunishkaya looked better. Ketlin Vieira looked worse, in my opinion. So I picked Ketlin, and she lost that fight convincingly. Derek Minner, the veteran, I thought Charles Rosa was going to take this one, but he got beat up convincingly. But I got every other fight right in my predictions. Got every other fight right. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we got in the main event. I wasn't too hype at first, but then I saw like they were playing the highlights for Ciryl Gane, and I was like, "Fuck, this is a great fight! How am I not excited for this?" Next week's main event is Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Ciryl Gane. Who this is gonna be a fucking banger. Jairzinho Rozenstruik, he's got that eraser. He's fucking powerful. Well, not necessarily eraser. He can knock people out, but I think Gane is the much more sophisticated striker. And he's definitely the much more rounded mixed martial artist, but Jairzinho Rozenstruik has a little bit more experience on him. So there's that. They're the same height. Gane's got about 3 inches on him in reach. And he's just so fluid with his striking. This is going to be a pretty good heavyweight fight. Maybe the winner of that fight is Derek Lewis next. Derek Lewis is calling out Alistair fucking Overeem, who just got his ass beat. But he got his ass beat by Volkov, who Derek Lewis knocked out and then very famously said his balls was hot. So he already got his hot balls from fighting Volkov the first time. Volkov looks better. Volkov looks super sharp with his striking when he fought Alistair. So why do you want to fight Alistair? You just want to knock out Alistair Overeem just to have that on your belt? Like, he, if anything, is like the number 1 contender behind John Jones. And now Alistair Overeem is probably like 12, 15. And he's talking about fighting. Like, if anything, he's the number 1 contender. If not 2, right under Francis. You don't have John Jones in the ranking. He hasn't done anything in the fucking division, so. But whoever wins here, man, I was looking at how good Ciryl Gane looked against Junior Dos Santos this last fight, and I was reminded, like, oh shit, yeah, he's about to be a problem. This is about to be a fucking banger next week, ladies and gentlemen. Co-main event, you got Nikita Krylov taking on Magomed Ankalaev. That's going to be a fucking great fight. I got Ankalaev in there. I'm not playing no games with you niggas. I'm going Ankalaev. Montana De La Rosa, the pride of the De La Rosa family, is taking on Mayra Bueno Silva. Should be interesting. Two fights I'm interested in. You got Angela Overkill Hill taking on Ashley Yoder. You know, I'm rooting for my girl, Angela Hill. I don't know Ashley Yoder or Angela Hill, but as a black person, I'm rooting for Angela Hill. And she's dope. You know, she's funny. She's a podcaster. And she's funny. She does her cosplaying, like Street Fighter and all that shit. She's a pretty cool person. So, rooting for Angela Hill. And then you got Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres. As I said, Alex Caceres, I predicted, would have a great 2021. He's fighting Kevin Kroom. So I got my boy Alex Caceres by default. I was like, I can't have an episode where I'm saying like, oh, this person's going to have a great year, this person's going to have a great year. And then when they have a fight, I don't pick them to win. I mean, we'll see what happens. But I was like, I probably should pick whoever I said is going to have a good year, like Thiago Moises. I don't know if I said him, but I meant him when I said Diego Ferreira. And But he's fighting Alexander Hernandez, so that's going to be a pretty tough fight. You got William Knight versus Alonzo Menifield. That's going to be a good fight. I got Menifield in there. We got some fights next week, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be some fights. And I'm going to get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for being with me this week. If you guys want to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5Pod. You can follow my personal account at My Name's Jermaine. You can email this podcast at Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can follow this podcast at Babylon5.podbean.com. You can listen to this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcast stream. And if you got Xbox, go ahead and add me. My gamer tag is SaucedBoss414. If you guys are on Twitch, go ahead and add me at twitch.tv/Babylon5. Go ahead and check out the merch. Go to teespring.com/stores/BOFpod-shop. Or you can go to teespring.com/stores/personals-selection for the Boars line. If you guys would like to support the podcast in other ways, go to patreon.com/Babylon5Pod. You get this episode early, along with a bunch of other exclusives. And if you guys are on TikTok, go ahead and add me at Babylon5Podcasts. This has been your boy, Jermaine Event. This is episode 79, a revolutionary. Thank you guys so much for being here with me another week. Once again, I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves and each other. And I'll see you when I see you. I'll holla.